Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 8 of the Formula 1 1998 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Canadian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on Monaco that went live a few days ago, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. We've already reached the halfway stage of this season, which I think is absolutely insane as well there. So I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone for the continued support on this series. Taking a look at the Drivers' Championship, it is still Eddie Irvine who leads the way there, 11 points clear of Michael Schumacher. Mika Hakkinen, he took his third race win of the season last time out and is still in P4, and I'm sure for his sake, he's hoping that he can make it a fourth win here now as well. They're 7th place for us in the Drivers' Championship, 5th place for Arrows as well in the Constructors. We scored some all-important points to make sure that we leapfrog Tyrrell once again. However, I can't help but feel that the rest of the season, you know, both ourselves and Tyrrell are probably going to drop behind Stewart, Sauber, and Jordan. So maybe we can finish 8th place by the end of this campaign as well there. But yeah, let's move then back to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I'm looking forward to this one. I feel it should be a good track for this car. Quickly though, before we get into this video, I want to thank all of the names you see on your screen. Without their continued support of the channel, none of the work we do here would be possible. And if you want to get your name featured on this list, you can click the join button or click the Patreon link down in my description below and support the channel from just £1 a month. You will also get access to weekly updates about everything going on behind the scenes and also occasionally some early previews on videos. So yeah, a massive thank you to my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters, and let's get back to the video. Well, I must admit, very nervous then for qualifying here in Canada. I think this is my first wet session that we've done all season, at least in sort of a more competitive environment, and immediately there is very little grip under the car there. I mean, often this car's felt pretty nimble, pretty light so far this season. Here, it just feels like it's floating across the water, maybe due to the nature of that lightness in the car, but maybe this will allow me to spring a surprise. To be within half a second of Mika and David by the end of Sector 1 doesn't happen often in this series, so we'll try and hang on as best as we can. Our race tomorrow, though, is still meant to be dry, so I'm not expecting, if we get some heroics here, that maybe we'll be able to emulate them. Can we also just take a second to appreciate just how good the old version of Canada was on the F1 game before they redid all the curbs here. This place used to be so much fun. You might be on, though, for my best qualifying session of the season if you exclude Sepang there as making our way out of the final chicane. Big kick of oversteer on the exit, but we might be just outside the top 10 here by the end of qualifying. It's P12 on the grid. What a showing for Arrows. Well, have a look at that then. Top 4, I'm pretty certain the identical, maybe Irvine and Schumacher have swapped from last time out in Monaco. Really doesn't seem like David Coulthard can get the car hooked up over one lap anymore. He gets one sniff at the championship, does David Coulthard, and immediately it all falls apart there. But clearly the 3 backmarker cars are a lot closer to everyone else in the rain. But, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of straights around here. We might be in big trouble. Let's get into it. Canadian Grand Prix time. Quickly though, before we get into that, I want to thank today's video sponsor, Fanatec. Yes, I have used Fanatec gear now for many years, and they still are a dominant force in the sim racing space. If you're racing on Xbox or PC, nothing really comes close, and their PC offerings are still absolutely brilliant. If you're interested in ever shopping for any Fanatec products, it would be greatly appreciated if you would use my link down in the description below. At no additional cost to yourself, you massively help support the channel, and yeah, I just want to say thank you for Fanatec for their continued support.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today for the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
The rain has subsided then here for race day Sunday here in Montreal. Of course, we finally returned to the points last weekend. I would love to do the same here today, but we're not going to go with a crazy tyre strategy or anything like that. I mean, we're out of position. We know the cars around us are going to be quick down the straights. There's not a lot we can do about it. So let's just try and get to the end and get there in one piece. Reigning world champion and homeboy Jacques Villeneuve starting alongside me. 5 red lights. And it's a mighty long hold, but it is lights out and away we go. Trying to avoid too much wheel spin there, but also avoid the anti-stall. As Damon Hill there tries to run into the side of me down at turn 1. We'll have a look around the outside of a handful of cars. Got to be careful though, the AI won't give us much room at all. There is 3 wide on the exit of turn 2, and Hill and Magnussen will say thank you very much then. So losing a couple of spots already to the cars that we would expect to battle today. Jos Verstappen maybe looking for some redemption there after last weekend, but we'll hang on in front of him then off the start of the Grand Prix, as everyone now seemingly a lot more calm and cautious on lap 1s now. I feel like the AI kind of made it through those first few races and kind of worked out that maybe trying to go for dive bombs everywhere is not always the best way of doing things. As, yeah, making our way out on towards the hairpin though. Are we going to be close enough to Magnussen to go for a little bit of a cheeky send? AI lights Constantina up here, so we absolutely will. Back ahead of Jan. Was crashed into the back of me back in Barcelona a couple of races ago. So hopefully he's not going to repeat that today. But, I mean, let's just wait and see. How quick is that Stewart down the straights? He's gaining. Not close enough, though, that time. We'll live to hang on. Oh, we've already got yellows out. I've seen Michael Schumacher's taken the lead of the Grand Prix. Have we already got a Mika Hakkinen DNF? I mean, if my money was on anyone, it would be him. Someone is definitely going slow. What is this? Oh, it's David Coulthard. McLaren, yet another one of their cars has gone up in smoke. Somehow I just got dive bombed by 2 cars and neither of them got a warning for it. But DC, our first casualty of the afternoon. I tell you what, early on, the AI's pace doesn't actually look that tremendous here. Damon Hill, would hardly say he's running away from me. We have been putting upgrades on this car quietly behind the scenes, but I don't genuinely know whether they actually make a difference or not to these cars. But yeah, Magnussen and Frentzen dropping away slightly. I mean, this was always one of my best tracks on the Formula 1 game there, as Schumacher still stretching his legs at the front. But maybe points aren't going to be impossible. Well, I'm just watching the AI battling in front there. They're definitely having quite a good little scrap early on in this GP, and we aren't quicker than them, but I also don't believe we're slower at the moment. So this is really going to be one of those races of biding our time, seeing if we see any other errors, or of course, you know, trying to play a safety car to our advantage or anything like that. The other thing that makes me chuckle is we're probably going to get lapped by Michael Schumacher on raw pace here if he keeps up the time he's setting. Frentzen as well behind me seems to be able to keep up quite well. But yeah, Magnussen, yeah, is dropping away with the rest of the other back markers, so that Stewart might have problems.
You've lost one of the gears. Say again, you have lost access to one of the gears.
So apparently then a gearbox can only do 3 races then in this series. I got no idea which gear I've lost. It's certainly not one of the higher ones, which I suppose is alright. But just like back in Shanghai then, we are going to be dealing with gearbox problems today. I believe it's second that's gone. Yeah, second gear's gone then, so hopefully we can race around it. Right, well, we have gained second gear back again then, so these faults only last ever for a couple of laps. But I'm worried, of course, if that gearbox is going to deteriorate much worse as the race goes on. What I need you to do is, after round 11, someone spam me in the comments saying change the gearbox. But honestly, you can pretty much get away with third through sixth gear here. We didn't really feel like we were missing second at all. But it looks like Jacques Villeneuve and Ralf Schumacher are basically going through that final chicane side by side every single lap at the moment. I mean, if one of them messes it up just once, they are probably both out of this Grand Prix, but neither of them seems to want to give up 9th place here right now. Well, Damon Hill and I just need to crack out the popcorn. Oh, here goes Jacques Villeneuve again. Had a look to the outside of Ralph. And again, Ralf Schumacher will just hold firm ahead of that Williams. I mean, yeah, Williams, one car barely running inside the top 10. The other one down in P13 here. I don't think they'd really hoped this would be where they'd be battling after winning last season. But it is only meant to be a temporary downfall. Of course, the joys of this series is we'll see whether that actually happens or not. Will Williams get back to fighting form? It's going to take a while for us to find out there. But here goes Jacques then round the outside of Ralph's going to form to the inside. Ready for turn 1. And, well, finally, the homeboy is through. And now we are all over the back of both of those Jordans. Oh, I've got to run. I've got to run on Damon. Down the inside of Damon Hill. We get a big drift through the corner as we try and slow it down in front of him. But that was a very daring move. Pretty much sliding our way right through both of those corners. But we are now up into 11th. And we try and continue this and get out of this Jordan sandwich. Oh, here comes Damon. Yep, nothing we can do. Nothing we can do. No!
The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
Well, we've got a couple of drivers out of the Grand Prix. What on earth has happened here? Well, this seems to be the look we've got of it. It doesn't give us much information, but clearly one of the Benettons there has ran wide out of the final corner, and I believe this is Johnny Herbert behind him. Is just very, very quickly going to realise he has got nowhere to go. Yeah, you can just see there. Nicks that rear wheel. It's a very high-speed crash. And I can't say I'm surprised at all that we got a safety car from that one. This is meant, though. Oh, no! No, the Jordans! They blocked me in! We got another one out. Don't know idea who that is as well. But, yeah, one of the Jordans there blocking me, Damon Hill. And that means now we've been jumped by Magnussen. And maybe a few other cars there as well. Frentzen further up the road. But all of us trying to go hard tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. So this has really spiced this race up. John Lacey there, we're going to be racing him on pit exit, but we will just get back out ahead of the Sauber. Well, Frentzen and Magnussen then, probably the big winners from all of this going early on this afternoon. Frentzen now up to 6th from 12th place there, but we are now nestled inside the points. I think everyone is trying to get to the end of the afternoon now, so we might be quicker still than Magnussen and Frentzen here. I'm not quite sure what Alesi and Genet have got planned behind me then. But Mika Hakkinen, familiar sight for him with clear open road in front. However, he has got Michael Schumacher breathing down his neck in that Ferrari car behind. Let's just see what happens off this restart. Can we keep it clean and tidy? Can we try and find a way back around this Stewart? The AI, yeah, definitely a little bit weak through here so far this afternoon. And we're going to try and capitalise again then. Down the inside of Magnussen. It always means you get a nice big drift in towards the next corner. But we are now up at a 7th place then of this GP. However, of course, we know how quick that Stewart is. We'll just about cover him off. As I think Alesi want to try and have a look as well there. Oh, right up towards the wall on the exit of the next corner. But we live to fight another day. Oh, we got someone pitting. We got a few cars pitting. Okay, so Jean Alesi then. Marc Genet maybe hadn't pit already in this Grand Prix. Giancarlo Fisichella has also dived it in. As, I think that was, Hakkinen getting jumped by Eddie Irvine. So I don't know what's going on with the McLaren car either. Ferrari, though, back to a 1-2 in this GP. And look at that, a podium is right there. Well, Marc Genet then, I believe, is actually trying to get to the end of the Grand Prix. Damon Hill, though, back into P8, so clearly slowing down, double stacking in the pit lane hasn't cost Jordan too much. Of course, remember, they're one of the teams that we might have a chance of beating in the Constructors, but not if they get a good result here, we won't. Oh, Frenson, a little bit slow. We'll have to dive him. Down the inside we'll go there on the Williams, and he kind of has to jump out of the way of it a little bit. But we've made it through cleanly, and we're at a bit of P5 then of this Grand Prix. I don't see a world, surely, in which we finish best of the rest this afternoon, but with a little bit of luck and a little bit of bravery. As soon as I say that, we get a bit of wheel spin as well, for good measure. Oh, Frenson, you cannot cut across me like that, man. We've got to be so careful with this car at the moment. Frenson and I still wheel to wheel on the exit of the corner there, and side by side throughout so many turns. Surely he's going to get the pace on me down this back straight. Yep, there we go. Goodbye, Heinz-Harald Frenson, as cars are pitting. Who's pitting further up the order then? Did Mika Hakkinen not pit under the safety car? No, he didn't. Hakkinen down into like well, whatever now. We're suddenly back into P5. And, well, we could be on the podium with the Ferraris here as Ralf Schumacher wants to make it a double Schumacher podium. Well, if Eddie Irvine had issues and the rest of us finished where we are, it could be the first German all three on the podium, and the first time since 1982 one nationality has locked out the podium. That is quite a long shot, but Irvine pushing on well. We are trying to push on well. I want to get a podium here. Well, it feels like at this early point of this series, McLaren are doing everything within their power to not win the World Championship. I don't know how many times we've seen them either have an engine failure or a poor strategy blunder. Anything and everything seems to be happening to the McLaren team so far in 1998. Marc Genet finally decides to peel into the pit lane. But of course, Schumacher, Frentzen and I all hoping for a podium. But if Hakkinen can carve his way back through the order, which I expect in that McLaren he probably can, he might still get this away from all three of us here, as really close to Frentzen through the first couple of corners. You know what that means? We've got to look for it. To the inside we'll go. And up then into P4 once more of the Grand Prix. Hopefully this time around we'll get to keep it. Oh no, this time around I've lost third gear. And that is far more useful around this venue, so we'll have to try and work our way around it. Pretty much get into fourth gear and mash the throttle, I suppose. Again, it should only be for a couple of laps, but we need this. Come on. Ralf Schumacher, though, saying that, makes a bit of a mistake out the final corner. We're going to get closer back down in towards turn one. We've got to be really careful now that we're not too aggressive with our downshifts, because, of course, we could really upset the rear of the car. You can see there, get into fourth, and you can... Well, yeah, that's actually all right. Oh!
The safety car is out.
What's happened? We've lost like 4 more cars. What on earth's gone on? Well, let's try and piece this all together then. Looks like one of the stewards drops it trying to get out onto the back straight. One of the Minardis and one of the... What has happened? So, Stewart's gone and dropped it. We've then got one of the Minardis comes out and just drives into the wall, kind of panicking. And I think, yeah, the other Benetton has gone and done the same. Giancarlo Fisichella following him. Let's just slap the wall as well. And late on in the day, we have got another safety car here in Montreal. Well, we are taking a big gamble then at the end of lap 26 here. We're going to bolt on a set of these soft compound tyres to see us to the end. I think we've lost Michael Schumacher. What on earth is happening here late on in the day? I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. Michael Schumacher under safety car has just gone into the back of it. He's crashed into the safety car here, and Michael Schumacher now is out of this Grand Prix. Where are we going to re-emerge in this race then? I mean, there's 12 cars still running, and somehow, of course, Shinji Nakano is not inside the point still at this stage of the GP. We'll stay ahead of Ricardo Rossi when we make it back out onto the track. And, well, this is just ridiculous. We're in 10th place still at this Grand Prix. But can we recover a few more places on the fresher tyres? And I apologise as well. For some reason, I always get confused in this series. Eddie Irvine has crashed into the safety car, not Michael Schumacher. 5 laps to go then, and it is now a Schumacher 1-2 here in Montreal. There has been so much crazy stuff happening today. It has turned into a German 1-2-3 as well. at the front of the field. But Mika Hakkinen is on fresher tyres than every car in front of him. Can he still find a way back to the front of the field before the end of this? It's just myself and Nakano that are gambled onto a set of the softs here late on in the day. I want to try and recover up to about P5 if we can. Then I won't feel like I've lost out too much by the end of the afternoon. As already there are Lacey a little bit slow through the first couple of corners. Ricardo Rossi behind me trying to look for it. We need to get past Jos Verstappen. We cannot afford to get dropped by Tyrrell again in the Constructors' Championship. With De La Rosa there running up in P8 though. As you can see, immediately we'll get the run down the inside of a Lacey. And that's one car ticked off. That Sauber car is still so quick in a straight line there. Here goes a Lacey. Nope, looks for it. Can't quite complete the move there as well. Almost into the back of our teammate down at turn 1. I think, yeah, our best course of action still has got to be out of turn 5 and turn 6 here into sector 2. It just seems to reliably be the place where we can get that run on the AI and have quite a safe look to the inside. He says it's a safe look, but not want to get a huge wobble like that. Not going to stop me, though. Cat-like reactions, if I do say so myself. And we are now up past our teammate by Jos Verstappen. Probably, having a highlight of his season there. Almost into the back of the Tyrrell. It kind of felt like he tried to block me.
Have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
But I mean, yeah, this battle just in front there pretty much takes... I mean, there's not many cars left. Of course, it's going to take us to the front of the field. If we can get past Verstappen here, we're still going to have 2 more laps to try and close in on Magnussen, as Verstappen is all over the road at the moment. We've got to find a way around him. Surely it's going to be the old faithful. Yes, it is. Up into P7 we go. But what more can we do? Well, starting the last lap then of this Grand Prix, I will take pride in the knowledge that I haven't been involved in any of the retirements so far today. It's kind of felt like the last couple of races we have been the one causing the carnage here, but yeah, not sure how I feel about the soft compound gamble towards the end of this. Let me know where you think we would have finished down in the comments below. I think simply Mika would have had me easily, and I'm not convinced we were going to get Ralph before the end of this thing, so I don't think, hopefully, it's going to cost us too much in the bigger picture here. As look at this Damon Hill. Have a look down the inside of Heinz-Harald Frentzen with just a handful of corners to go of this Grand Prix, and Frentzen in the Williams having to give up yet another position then in this Grand Prix. Is he going to try and look back to the inside though? Yes, he is. Williams and Jordan duking it out right to the bitter end of this Grand Prix there. Jan Magnussen and I have absolutely got the best seats in the house for this one. And how many battles have we followed so far today? Will Frentzen be able to get a run down in towards that final corner? Yes, he is, as Michael Schumacher is going to win here in Montreal. Is Hill going to give up on it? Is Frentzen going to give up on it? Frentzen locks up. Magnussen gets a bit quiet in the process. We've got to try and get a run on the pair of them at the final corner up towards the line. We get an illegal overtake on Magnussen. Do we get to keep it? We don't. It's 12th. What is that?
That's it then for another magnificent Canadian Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Well, there we are then. Michael Schumacher takes the win here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and will become our 4th different driver to lead the World Championship so far this season after his teammate and both of the McLarens there. 4 Drivers' Championship leaders after 8 races. boy oh boy, this is a season to remember there. Hakkinen P2 joins the Schumachers on the podium when all is said and done. They're beating out Hill and Heinz-Harald Frentzen, but we got warned within about 100 meters of the finish line that I got an illegal overtake on Magnussen, so there was next to nothing we could have done in that situation there, and the FIA clearly felt a 20-second time penalty was a punishment fit for the crime there. That does mean Alesi finishes 7th, Verstappen 8th, De La Rosa in P9 then, and Shinji Nakano does get a point. So every driver now has scored a point this season, which is just absolutely mind-blowing there. Schumacher now with a 14-point lead as Hakkinen, it's the first time he's finished a race this year in which he hasn't won. We get relegated down behind Alesi in the championship standings. There you can see Frentzen jumps Wirtz, Damon Hill, Ralf Schumacher both jump Ricardo Rosset, and Jos Verstappen there with Magnussen getting the jump on my teammate. And yeah, Shinji Nakano, 1 point to his name now, means he and everyone else has scored a point so far this season there. Jordan jumps Stewart, Tyrrell re-jump ourselves there. We're still tied with Sauber there, but look at that. Every team, with the exception of Minardi, has scored at least 39 points so far this season. That is an absolutely crazy statistic as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you thought of that penalty right at the end as well, and we'll be back very soon when the F1 1998 career mode heads to the Austrian Grand Prix.